She was the last one they ever expected to save them. When the Rangers sent a desperate SOS, surrounded on all sides with no air support and no reinforcements able to reach in time, everyone believed they were already done for. But somewhere in the shadows, a single sniper adjusted her scope, slowed her breathing, and began eliminating their attackers one by one. Her name was Serena Hawley. Most knew her as the quiet one. No one knew what she was truly capable of. Serena arrived at Camp Marshall 3 weeks before deployment. She didn't talk much. She avoided the barracks gossip. She didn't brag about past missions or share war stories. While others lifted weights and debated who was the toughest in the unit, she preferred sitting alone at the end of the firing range, polishing a rifle no one had ever seen issued before. To most, she looked out of place. Too calm, too soft-spoken. But the senior officers knew something the others didn't. She was here on a special assignment. Rumors floated around the base. Some said she got in because her father was a general. Others insisted she failed out of a unit somewhere else and had been reassigned. None of them guessed the truth. None of them knew that she had completed selections most soldiers never even dared to attempt and passed without a single penalty. None of them knew she was one of the military's most accurate long-range shooters, deployed in operations that never existed on paper. But Serena didn't correct them. She just listened, observed, prepared. On her first training mission with the Rangers, they hiked 14 miles through brutal mountain terrain. The squad leader, Sergeant Rhodes, barked orders every few feet. A patriotic bull with endless enthusiasm and half the accuracy. He didn't like her silence. He didn't like that she never tried to impress him. Halfway up the ridge, Rhodes told her to take point. Another ranger scoffed and whispered that she would get lost. She didn't. She led them straight to the navigation point with no wasted steps, no complaints, no breaks. But instead of respecting her precision, some resented her for it. During weapons drills, others joked about her slender build. They said the recoil would knock her down. They said she looked like she belonged in an office, not a battlefield. Even during live fire training, when she hit every target before Rhodes finished giving commands, the jokes continued. Serena ignored them. She had heard far worse from enemy interrogators who never lived long enough to try twice. Then came the mission that changed everything. A squad of Rangers, including Serena, deployed into a desert valley to track a weapons smuggling cell. It was supposed to be routine: follow, observe, and extract. High risk but manageable. But the intel was wrong. As they settled into a vantage point, the hills around them lit up with muzzle flashes. More than a dozen hostiles. Maybe more. A coordinated ambush from every angle. The Rangers dove behind rocks while bullets shredded the sand around them. Rhodes grabbed the radio, his voice tight with panic. Requesting air support. No response. Requesting artillery. Nothing. Command answered with one sentence that chilled them all. We are unable to assist at this time. Hold position. The valley trapped radio signals. They were alone. Serena looked across the valley, scanning through heat haze and bullet trails. The ambushers weren't amateurs. They were organized, using overlapping fire positions, moving to close distance. If they reached the ridgeline, the Rangers would be wiped out in minutes. Rhodes cursed, firing blindly over the rock. One Ranger took a round to the shoulder, another to the thigh. Blood pooled. Panic rose. In the chaos, Serena stayed still, calm, focused. She opened her pack. Inside wasn't a standard M4 or DMR. It was a precision rifle built for one purpose: making impossible shots from impossible distances. Rhodes stared at her in shock. Where the hell did you get that? She didn't answer. She simply assembled the rifle, her movements smooth and practiced. She adjusted her bipod on warm stone. Her breathing slowed. The world narrowed to her scope's crosshair. Then she spoke for the first time that mission. Cover the wounded. Keep your heads down. Before Rhodes could argue, her first round cracked through the valley like a warning from the heavens. One hostile dropped. then another, then another, moving targets at unpredictable angles. Shots most snipers needed wind sensors and ballistic computers to calculate. She did it by instinct. The valley shifted. The ambushers hesitated. Their fire staggered into confusion. Rhodes only now realized what they had never understood. Serena wasn't a random replacement. She wasn't a quiet transfer. She was assigned to them for this exact type of moment. The enemy regrouped, flanking from the west ridge. Serena already knew. She had seen the flicker of mirage, the shift of dust, the barely visible glint of metal. She changed positions and fired again. The attacker never made it to the ledge. 3 minutes into her counterattack, the valley fell silent except for the ringing in the Rangers' ears. The squad had fired barely a handful of rounds. Serena had fired 19. All 19 connected. Rhodes stared at her like he was seeing a ghost. "Who are you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reloaded and kept scanning. Because she wasn't done. A figure moved behind a distant boulder holding a radio. A spotter. Calling for reinforcements. Serena steadied her rifle. The shot was far outside standard engagement range. A lesser sniper wouldn't even attempt it. She took it without hesitation. The spotter collapsed, radio falling from his hand. She spoke into the squad net for the first time. "We move now." They carried the wounded and followed her across the valley. She guided them through a route no one else noticed, hidden beneath the terrain's natural shadows. Within an hour, they reached extraction range. Command finally answered. Air support inbound. Rhodes slumped in the sand, breath shaking. "You saved us." Serena looked at him with the same calm expression she had worn the entire mission. "No, we saved each other." But the Rangers never forgot how many lives they owed her. Back at base, everything changed. The jokes disappeared. The whispered doubts turned into silent respect. Training sessions paused whenever she fired at the range because everyone wanted to watch the impossible become routine. Some approached her and apologized. She didn't need the words. She only needed them to learn why you never underestimate the quiet ones. Those who shout often reveal their limits. Those who listen learn how to surpass them. Rhodes eventually learned that Serena wasn't just a sniper. She was part of a classified unit that handled missions few would ever hear about. She had seen war in ways no novel could capture. She knew loss, sacrifice, and the price of staying alive long enough to save others. But she never bragged. She never told her story. She simply continued doing what she was best at, protecting the people around her, whether they respected her or not. Months later, every Ranger in that squad had a new perspective. They no longer judged a soldier by muscles, volume, or swagger. They judged by calmness in chaos, by the skill to act when others froze, by the heart to keep fighting when everyone had already given up. Serena taught them that strength doesn't need to shout. Courage doesn't need applause. And heroes often walk among us silently. This story is a reminder, never dismiss the quiet ones. They are often the ones who have fought the hardest battles, seen the harshest truths, and carry the most powerful skills without ever needing recognition. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.